Hey everyone, and welcome to Broke to Woke. I'm your host, Ann Marlin, and like you, I'm along for the ride with Jamie Langbein, a financial advisor with a passion for helping people of all walks of life to achieve their financial goals. Now, before we dive in, I want to be upfront. I'm a proud ally of the LGBTQ+ community, and I'm really excited to introduce you to Jamie. Jamie's life experiences mean that her door is wide open to everyone, and she's very much aware of the fear and the anxiety that people can feel, especially when it comes to money. However, Jamie says it best. She doesn't get emotional about your money. She does, however, get passionate about helping others to achieve lifelong goals and dreams, especially when it comes to money. Now, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the very basics, like what is a financial planner? Like, what does that even mean? So come on in, and we're just going to spend about 10 minutes just breaking that down.
Hello, everyone. I am Jamie Langbein, a certified financial planner. And as my wonderful host, Ann, said, we're here to talk to you about general financial planning topics.
And I am going to stay off camera and out of the way. But Jamie, like you said, we're going to talk about general topics. Can you just tell me what a financial planner is?
I love that question. And the term financial planner is so broad and all-encompassing because a financial planner can be everything from a money manager to a day trader to a life insurance agent. So what it comes down to is the consumer needs to dig into what the financial planner they're sitting down with has to offer, because it's gonna vary so much. And I always encourage people, whether it be individuals or families, to talk to multiple advisors to make sure that they're gonna be able to meet the needs you have, and also you're going to be comfortable sharing such vulnerable information with them. Because if you're not comfortable, it's not gonna be successful.
So some people think that you only deal in wealth management. So is that the need that you mean that people have?
I do work with people on the wealth management side. However, there is so much more outside of wealth management that is my primary role. It is protection, first, fully, and forever. It is cash flow. There are not a lot of advisors out there that are passionate and talking about cash flow. And in the day and age that we live in, that's what we need to be talking about, because everything starts in that foundation of cash flow.
So as your client, one of the things that was interesting is that's not where you started our conversation. So can you tell a little about what happens when people first walk into your office? Because I know that was part of it, but where did you start with me?
So what I want to do first and foremost is I want to relieve the stress of sitting down with me. Finances are personal, and there's a lot of emotion and truthfully a lot of trauma behind money. We all have a history. We all were raised differently, and so those play into it. So when we're initially sitting down, it's just going to be getting to know each other and figuring out what you want. Because, Ann, what you wanted and what you told me is completely different than the 30-year-old couple with 2 young kids that are not amidst a career change. And so it's really meeting you where you're at, determining what your goals are, and how we build a plan around that.
That was interesting to me, actually. So let's talk more, because you just mentioned the 30-year-old. You're not mentioning what I usually think of as people that go the age group. So tell me more about your clients and how you talk to them at different phases of life and those goals.
So the way I see the financial planning journey is it's really 3 phases. There's a placement phase, there's the growth phase, and there is the final ascent before we begin the descent to retirement. So everybody falls in a different category, and I work with people in each of those areas. Going up the mountain is pretty easy. I mean, we're saving money. Yes, there's cash flow, there's life, there's all those things. It's when we get to the top of that mountain, which most people will call retirement, that's when we have to make sure that we really have a foolproof plan that's ready for any curveballs that get thrown at us.
Speaking of foolproof, one of the other things you mentioned to me was you said, I want to see the whole picture. Will you describe what that meant when we sat down?
Absolutely. If a person comes to me with a goal to save money for the future, we need to look at what debts are keeping that from happening. What expenses do we have day to day? I really like to look at the balance sheet as your financial MRI. It is the whole picture, and if we don't have the whole picture, we can't plan because all of those pieces are working together to form your financial world. And the biggest and most important part of that is your net worth, which is simply your assets or the money you have less your liabilities or debts. And in that net worth is where sits your hopes, your dreams, your goals, and your future. And so we want to see that continue to grow and be where you want it to be for the goals that we set forth.
Awesome. I thought that was a really interesting part, because when I think of financial planner, again, I think of somebody that's just telling me how to spend my money. And you're like, how would you like to spend your money? So now I'm getting this picture of how you talk about goals and talk about putting together like how to make it more secure for them. What else do you like to cover?
It is really, and I've mentioned this already, but it's meeting the person where they're at. Because what we need to cover needs to allow you to sleep at night. Because if you're sleeping at night, then I can sleep at night. And for some people, that may mean that we are doing a lot of different moving pieces. For another person, it may mean that there is one little area that they need some financial organization in, and that's what we focus on.
Okay. Well, that's actually all we have time for today. We just wanted to cover this on a general basis. Is there anything you want to say before we sign off, or cover that we didn't cover yet?
You know, the only thing I want to say is, again, I understand it's scary to talk about finances. It's scary to take that initial step, but having the conversation is just where you start. And the sooner you start, the easier it is.
This podcast is intended for general public use. By providing this content, Park Avenue Securities LLC and your financial representative are not undertaking to provide investment advice or make recommendation for a specific individual or situation, or to otherwise act in fiduciary capacity. Jamie is a registered representative financial advisor or Park Avenue Securities LLC, PAS. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS, members FINRA, SPIC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian. New York, New York. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian Financial Architects Incorporated and is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. 2024 177384 expires 6/26.